If a tree falls and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? If Auburn doesn't sign anyone on signing day, is it signing day or is it just another Wednesday?
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Joining us for the second time this week, Charlie 5. And I thought I'd bring you on because you're normally our recruiting guy. We could recap National Signing Day. And we're done.
Great show. See you Tuesday.
Yep. Ferg Friday tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.
It was a great, basic, nothing important Wednesday yesterday. It was a usual Wednesday. It was a typical Wednesday.
Is this a big deal?
I don't see how it can't be looked at as a big deal.
You think it is a big deal?
For numerous reasons.
Okay.
Number one, there was really only 3 targets, period. There was only 3 targets.
Right.
We didn't get a single one. And then there was seemingly no backup plans. No backup plans. We had 3 weeks of possible visit weekends after the dead period ended. We played Kentucky one of those weekends, gang. Hey, we had the camp out basketball game. We didn't have a single official visit of not one backup plan for 3 weeks.
We had basketball recruits in that weekend, though.
Had basketball guys. There was some unofficial visits of the 3 targets that we're going after.
Right.
There was not an official visit back. We hurt for offensive linemen. We keep talking about offensive linemen. We struggle for offensive linemen. We haven't signed one in the portal yet, and we only signed one high school kid. And then we had Jalen Farmer, who, seemed to be our next guy we were going to single out and go get. And he ends up going to Florida. And then Inez Cooper, who would have crawled through broken glass, regardless if he is the top of the top talent, would have crawled through broken glass to come to Auburn. He signs with Miami. He signed with Miami today, guys. Then there's an offensive lineman from Demopolis who would have crawled through broken glass to come to Auburn. He signed with Missouri today, guys.
Last thing.
Yeah. He signed, I'm sure that because that is the most PG rated thing I can come up with right now.
I get that. I thank you for doing that.
He signed with Missouri today, guys. I don't get it. I don't understand how that. I don't see any possible way you can spin this positive. I don't see it. I mean, you're going to have to do a really good sales pitch to spin that to me in a positive light.
Yeah, and I guess the approach I was coming from was signing day now doesn't really matter. But the fact that you went 0 for 3, that stinks. But we kind of thought that we would go 0 for 3 going into it, with kind of news coming out and tracking visits and things like that. Maybe didn't think Citizen was going to Miami, but I don't think Auburn felt like they were going to get him. But I think you nailed it. I think it was the lack of a backup plan where it's like, what's going on? I mean, in the past, Auburn's backup plans were like Daniel Thomas. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or we had a couple even Jarquez Hunter was kind of a late. He was kind of a late dude. Like we just stopped. We just stopped recruiting, period. We just stopped. We had 3 guys we're going to get. And if it's whatever, we don't get them. Okay. We'll just move on. We'll just go to the portal. We'll go to the clearance.
They don't want to be here. We don't need them. You need bodies, man. You need bodies for sure.
I'm appalled.
So you think it's a big deal? Interesting.
I think it's
that route when we were talking about our pre-show meeting, if you would.
Yeah, I'm pretty blown away that's the way that signing day ended. Was just we're just going to move on to the next one. So
and once again, I talked about this with the War Report guys yesterday. With everything that's happening at Auburn right now, even if it's not actually a big deal, each individual thing, it looks terrible. There is nothing positive from the outside looking in. There are very few things to be excited about. Tank Bigsby is it. Tank Bigsby is all that we have to be excited about right now. And the passing game is crazy. Like Jabari Johnson announced that he is entering the portal. Auburn is leaving signing day with less talent than what it started with. What? Has that ever happened before? Surely not. Surely that's never happened before.
It can't. I mean, we're now at 18 kids that have left the portal, that have left Auburn, and we've added 5 back through the portal. You get 7 just free that don't even count against you. Like, you get 7 free out of that 18. So, like, that don't even go against your 25. And it's like we didn't even – that was another thing. I mean, the portal season, the early portal season was almost foreshadowing early signing day. The early portal season, there was 2 or 3 targets and no backup plans. Early signing day, there was 3 targets, no backup plans. And then some of that could have been backup plans go to, pretty solid Power 5, get pretty solid Power 5 scholarships. I'm just like, we have got to have some positive news. Like, it is, I feel like that things are reaching a fever pitch in Auburn right now, from the fan side, from maybe even financial support side. Like, there's a fever pitch of frustration, and
financial support side. Talk about a buyout? Is that what you're insinuating?
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything in particular. I'm just saying there's people that matter that need something good needs to happen soon. I'm just saying something good needs to happen soon.
So what is an example of something good that could happen soon?
There needs to be, I would think, a rock star offensive coordinator needs to be hired, a solid, attractive quarterbacks coach or wide receivers coach with recruiting prowess that can get people excited needs to happen. And then they keep talking about this late portal deal, and I mean, that has to be hit as hard as it possibly can. That has to be hit harder than it's ever been hit, to get, and then hopefully have some positive momentum going into spring practice, which is, like, I guess, towards the end of March. I mean, you're not even going to have your starter. You're not even going to have your starter for spring, or your supposed starter for spring in Calzada with a shoulder. I mean, so, like, you can't even, like, get a positive feel on him moving, because I don't even think he'll probably play in the spring game. So, man, we just need – something's got to happen. Something good needs to happen big time.
Who's he going to throw to? I think this Jabari Johnson thing is wild.
The Jabari Johnson thing, like, he was the most promising returning receiver that we would have.
He's all they had, dude. Him and Shed were all they had.
Yeah, and Shed is Shed. He's a great kid and he plays hard, but, like,
he's a role player.
He's a role player. Jabari Johnson had game-breaking ability, and he's gone, and probably going to go to, like, Ole Miss or something like that. Like, he's going to go play somewhere, and he's going to.
Everyone else is going to Ole Miss. You know, why not him? So the whole I'm getting a ton of messages now asking, like, hey, it seems like you're going anti-Harsin now.
No,
and that's not it. That is not what I'm trying to do. I'm looking at what's happening, and everything that's happened since the season has ended has been bad.
There is. I tweeted. I put out a tweet, and I could not mean this more solemnly and more serious. It is best for Auburn football for Bryan Harsin to figure this out and be successful. Okay,
yeah, for sure.
At some point in time, you have to call a spade and say, bro, there is a laundry list of things right now that look from the outside, from optics, that it's not going very well. And we got to get – I mean, at some point in time, you just got to say it is what it is. Like, I like the no nonsense attitude. I like the business over pleasure and play around country club type atmosphere. I like coming in, getting your work done, being disciplined, and getting after it. I love that about him. But there's so much more that goes into being a coach in the SEC than just platitudes. culture and being tough just to be tough. Like there's so much more to it. And I'm not going to say I'm praying, but I'm just hoping so much that he figures this out, because it is looking bleak. It is looking bleak.
Yep.
This quick.
I want to continue the culture messaging in just a moment. Hey, I want to tell you about our friends at betonline.net. BetOnline has you covered with all types of betting information and lines and sports. They've got all kinds of things. BetOnline.net remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. And it's not just football. BetOnline has up-to-the-minute info on pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, UFC, along with live real-time updates of current games. BetOnline, where the game starts. Charlie 5, continuing that on, I think all Auburn fans liked what they were hearing from Harsin. The messaging of, going 1-0 and the 4th-and-1 mentality. It's just, it didn't happen. Like what you preached did not happen in year one. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with year one. We talked about it time and time again, how he inherited a really crummy situation.
And that hasn't changed. Like my mindset on that has not changed. It's a terrible roster in positions that don't need to be bad and to compete in the SEC. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, I think that's great. I think that's great. But as far as the whole, it's my way or the highway thing, that's fine. I think that's great.
Yeah. But
you got to get buy-in. And I don't know if you got that. And the whole, what they say with the Auburn Observer, Painter and Jay Ferg, they always talk about, you don't have to be great in your first year, but we need some proof of concept. Yes. And don't know if we really saw that. Maybe you saw it defensively in the Iron Bowl, but that D coordinator's gone. And I think from the coaching standpoint, on the field stuff is going to be okay. I think the calling, the defense, and the scheme is going to be fine. I think Auburn's defense will actually be pretty good in 2022, regardless of what happens. But on the offensive side, it's just you're an offensive coach. You didn't really fix anything, I don't think, unless you snap your fingers and the offensive line just comes together. But your receiving room is significantly worse. It's not just worse than it was at the end of the season.
Significantly worse.
It's significantly worse. And people are saying, in YouTube comments and stuff that about Auburn's in a better spot now than it was a year ago. And I do not think that's true because at that point you could sell the fact, you could sell hope and upside, and you got to believe in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that sales pitch, while I've got a gut feeling it hasn't changed a whole lot, the value of it has plummeted.
I felt like he would come in and diagnose our issues. And then, I still think you can turn a program around very quickly. And I think you're going to see this at USC. You can turn a program very quickly through the portal if it's done correctly. And I just knew there's no way this guy knows football. There's absolutely no way we don't bring in 3 to 4 portal offensive linemen,
totally
2 to 3 portal wide receivers, and let's duke it out in spring. Let's duke it out and let's figure this crap out. We're going to up the competition level and bodies, and we're going to get after it. And it didn't happen.
And I think there's a chance that does happen, though, Charlie 5. Maybe not 3 of each position, because then you're almost out of scholarships at that point. But I think after spring, you may get that, or maybe even during spring. But regardless of when you get them, from any time now till fall, they can't obviously participate in spring.
Right.
And that just puts you behind.
So far behind.
But you can, I do believe Auburn will go into the fall with more linemen and receivers than they have now. Right. You have to. You
have to, right?
Right. So that's the upside that I'm holding on to.
Yeah.
The roster currently sits with Calzada unable to participate because of his shoulder. If all that stuff is true, that is, that's a concern. I think that's a concern because I like TJ Finley. I want TJ Finley to succeed, but there's no competition there because I don't think Robbie Ashford was brought in to compete with TJ Finley. I'm just not buying that. So is TJ Finley going to feel a legitimate competition from Holden Geriner?
Maybe D Davis. I don't know.
I honestly forget he exists. I'm not gonna lie to you, but maybe
Yeah.
Does he have like a legit shot? I don't know, but it feels weird. It feels very eerie. It feels very eerie, and just talking to folks that kind of know what's going on. I think it's bad. I think it's really, really bad.
I think the morale and the temperament of the people that matter is not in a good place right now for Harsin.
How does this end? Does this end with a bad season eventually, whether it's in 2022 or 2023?
I mean, if it even gets to the season, I'm almost.
There's no way Harsin's not our coach in 22.
I hope he is. I hope he is. I'm just saying. I mean, it's nothing at this point in time will shock me. Nothing at this point in time will shock me.
For the folks out there, seriously, for the folks out there, and there's a bunch of you watching and listening. And I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but if you believe that all this stuff is ridiculous and Harsin's got it under control, I want you to reach out to me. I want to figure out a way to incorporate your thoughts into content on this show, because I think it'd be good. I think it'd be good for the fan base watching, and the audience involved in the community. I think it would be really fun to talk about that. So please reach out to the show. Join the Auburn Locked On Auburn Discord. We'll put the link in the episode description down below. I think that's the best way to go about this. But I want to hear your point of view, because I do too. You guys tune in because you love Auburn, and I want to respect that, and I want to give you a product that is positive about your favorite team. But I don't. The Jabari Johnson transfer really put me over the edge, just because it's like, what's happening? What's going on? And Joe Willis left too, right? We haven't mentioned that on the show.
He's probably about to leave. If he hasn't officially gone in the portal. The biggest thing is up until Jabari Johnson, has there really been a guy? I mean, you got Bo Nix, obviously, and I think
Kobe was the biggest so far.
Kobe. So you had Kobe,
who was a natural wide receiver,
the incumbent starter, and then Javarius Johnson, who was, for all intents and purposes, number 2. He was the number 2
year?
for this. I would say this coming up year, I think he was probably on line to be number 2. Like
behind who? 2. Who was number 1? Shed?
I'm saying Kobe would have been number 1. I think Javarius was going to be number 2. After Kobe left, he was number 1.
No doubt.
He was the number 1 wide receiving target, and he just dipped. And Ole Miss brought in some good wide receivers in the portal. So it's not like he's leaving if he goes to Ole Miss, for a guaranteed spot. And I'm just speculating on Ole Miss. That's just the rumors that I've heard, is probably going to Ole Miss. So
Alan Green's biggest thing when he fired Gus Malzahn was there was no hope. And if you feel hope right now, seriously, I want to talk to you. I want to talk, not necessarily on the show. I want to go talk with you and list your thoughts down so I can go over them. Not to prove you wrong or anything. I'll probably try to prove you right, honestly, because I want this to be positive. I want Auburn football to be good and successful. So, all right, cool.
When let's just clarify something. You and I were both incredibly like I feel like I would almost get in arguments with those people that were negative, like the people that were just let's just be negative just to be negative. Like,
dude, we did a show the week of A&M. We're like, if we win this, we're top 10, and we got a chance to go to the SEC championship.
Yes,
we did. Yes, and we wanted
that. We did that, and I've defended a lot of things. I do think Bo's injury played a lot into some of the losses down the stretch. I mean, but at the same time, I feel like we were super incredibly positive. We don't just seek to be negative for anything other than we're looking at the situation.
Right.
We're looking at all the evidence. Don't make me go into a criminal justice case again. Example. No, we're looking at the evidence.
Death penalty stuff again, please. Thank you.
We're looking at the evidence.
That was way out of bounds, by the way.
And it is not pointing. I mean, it is not pointing in a very good direction, seemingly from the surface, without being completely behind the scenes and knowing everything that's going on.
Right. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about some positive things. Before we talk about Auburn basketball, let's talk about something that may be even more positive. I'm talking about saving money at the gas pump. A lot of you guys listening have downloaded the Get Upside app. It's free in your phone's app store. And if you have the app, you're already saving up to 25 cents. You're getting 25 cents cash back per gallon every time you fill up. When you download it for the first time and you use promo code SCORE, you get an extra 25 cents per gallon or more on your first fill up. Cash back. Don't pay full price at the pump anymore. Get cash back using Get Upside. If you're down about how the Auburn football program is and you're not a basketball person, getting cash back on gas with the Get Upside app will help you a ton. You can take the cash out anytime. There's no catch here. I have the app. It's legit. Use promo code SCORE to get 25 cents per gallon or more cash back on your first tank. Charlie 5, what an incredible game that was Tuesday night as Auburn scored 100 points against their rival, sweeping them in their very tiny arena.
That tiny arena. Tiny arena. Hey, what was really funny, this is off topic, like it came out like a little bit later, Alabama's about to reduce their seating capacity to like 11,000 and renovate their stadium after all those stupid comments by that dork Nate Oates. He took one on the dork. He took one on the chin. I loved it. I loved the crowd. Every time he would like pitch a fit, they would chant in unison, "Shut up, Nate. Shut up, Nate," at the top of their lungs. And it was epic. It was a lot of fun.
It feels good. It feels good. Absolutely.
It feels good, man. Drop 100 on them.
I don't know if you heard me talk about this yesterday, but like with them posting the final and like turning replies off originally, they took it down and then, put it up. But like, it's just the prime example of like being able to dish it out, but you can't take it. You know what I mean? Like that's what Alabama is.
How many texts have you gotten today or seen Facebook posts of people that have their feelings hurt because Bruce did the crane and had the broom and talked about, oh, we don't do that. Act like you've been there before and blah, 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 and no class and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm sorry he hurt your feelings. Let's get over it. Get over it.
Wait, we were doing the same thing that Alabama was doing in football?
Their whole thing is it's the coach, though. That's a coach is supposed to be an example. You never see Nick Saban do that. Nate Oates, you know what Nate Oates did when they beat LSU in the SEC tournament last year?
Preach it.
He said, "Get the F out of here." It's on camera. Look it up. He told him to get the F out of here. It's on camera. That doesn't
sound like a very good example, Charlie.
No, it's a terrible example. I mean, come on. Like, we're number one in the country. We just absolutely drug you by 20 points. You shot 14 threes and got stroked. You made 14 threes and you got absolutely dominated.
We made like 5.
Get over it.
We almost won by 20. Crazy.
Yes. Come on, man. It's exciting to be number one. Like, don't act like you don't get excited. Don't act like you don't sing. We just beat the hell out of you every single time you have a win in any sport in the history of your athletics department. Like, let's get just
the lack of awareness is astounding.
So astounding. I mean? So
and like
astounding.
The Auburn fan base certainly has its flaws. We're a little ridiculous. We overreact to things, but I think we all are aware of it and we kind of love it. You know what I mean? But Bammers, that's just not what happens. That's just not what happens there because they want to always take they try to take the high road. And it's like, no, that's not how this works, bro.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, Barstool Bama, big props, bro. He said, turn the comments on. The Barstool Bama page on Twitter. He was ready to take it. He was ready to wear it. It's not even that big a deal. Like, just have fun with it. Like, it sucks. I know it's your rival.
It helps your social media account.
It's funny. Like, it's
because of the algorithms. It's you get engagement. It helps your page. Like, just let it happen.
Just let it. Just wear it.
I didn't want them to turn them on. I'm going to be honest with you.
I kind of didn't either. Just so that we could hold it. But then, like, it went, like, then they turned it on, and then it got real high, and then they deleted it, and then they posted it again, and then it went high again. Did they delete it again, or was it just the one time? Who cares?
I don't know. They think they outsmarted it. Like,
they did everything wrong. Like, whoever's runs that social media account literally made the wrong decision every time that a decision came up. It was hilarious. Every time there could be a decision, they made the wrong one. It's hilarious.
Man. Well, cool. Thank you for coming on to recap signing day for the Tigers. That was fun. We went over.
Hey guys,
we signed in depth there, so that's good.
don't hold it. Don't hold me. Don't put me in, lump me in this negativity category, guys. I want this.
You have been leading the charge from the get-go about Bryan Harsin's messaging being exactly what you want it to be.
Exactly. I was
right there with you. I mean, we have been pro Harsin. It's just we need something good to happen, please. Yeah. And we were we were fine with the Austin Davis thing. Like we really were. It's like, okay, cool, sweet. And I'm still all about Harsin taking over the offense. Like I'm all about it.
It's fine.
I think it's great. It's just been a lot of little things, and some things are bigger than others. But the losing your top 2 receivers is fascinating, and not going to get them, because we've seen them. We're circling back a little bit. Sorry, but we've seen them pursue linemen and just not get them. You're not seeing them pursue receivers as hard. You know what I mean?
The one kid from in the portal, the one kid
James
from
Madison or something.
No, well, they didn't even really go after him that hard. The kid from Louisiana Lafayette that went to LSU, Kyron Lacey. But that's it. There's no other plan. Right. That was the guy.
Yeah. I don't know. How can people find you here? You support you, all that good stuff, brother.
Yeah, dude. Find me on Twitter, _Charlie_5. Don't be mean. And auburnlive.com, the corner message board. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, dad bod, golf bod. Always.
Let's go. Hey, tomorrow on Locked On Auburn, we'll wrap up the week with a little Ferg Friday. And also, I had a few minutes with Roger McCreary. And by a few, I mean 3. He did not have a lot of time, and that's okay. Down here in Mobile for the Senior Bowl, but we'll play that on the show tomorrow as well. This has been Locked On Auburn,